definitely check it out. But this has been pre-recorded a few hours earlier, and we'll go from there. All right. So today's lesson is called Board of Directors. Okay, the Board of Directors, and so if you've taken the prerequisite, then you know, right? You know that essentially what happens is there are three things that we call our three pillars. Okay, three pillars. Now, let me share my screen. The other day I wasn't sharing, and you guys had to chase me down and get me to share your screen, Chuck. Share your screen. It's like, oh, my bad, y'all. Sorry about that. Apologies. But there are essentially, we talked about this. One of the reasons why you can trust that you're not wasting your time, right? Is because of the principle. Sorry, I'm trying to get the screen to you guys. Boom. All right. Because of the everlasting principles, okay, of how the market works. This is not just a random assembly of random confluences. Okay. I can't say they're the strongest confluences to ever exist, but for me, they have been the strongest confluences that I have found. Okay. And I've looked at a lot of things to go hand in hand. Okay. Now remember, it's built on the back of it's built on the back of structure. So it's still, at the end of the day, you got to be able to see what's happening here, so that when we dress it up, right, you don't forget all that, right? You don't let these other things that are potentially here to help, you don't let them harm you. Okay. Now, somebody may ask, well, Chuck, why the reason? Because here I am with my opinions, right? My thoughts, my opinions coming out of my head. Okay. Now, here's the thing about me. I have one perspective, right? I have one perspective. Okay. This is bad drawing of me, but this is me, right? I'm supposed to be a nose and there's two eyes. Okay. This is me. I need another ear, huh? But I guess at this angle, you wouldn't be able to see my ear. You guys are sleepy, so I'm going to be silly right now. Apologies. This is me. And these thoughts in here, they belong to me. And depending upon how I'm feeling, smiling, or a little scared, a little frustrated, a little whatever, these thoughts change. Maybe I am hungry for some pips, right? Maybe I am hungry for some food. Maybe I have a certain bias that I am married to. I'm married to my bias. Maybe, right? Maybe I missed a step and I wasn't paying attention to a level. Maybe all of these different things that can happen. In other words, over here, there's subjectivity that I have. And not just me, but I could bring in Sammy or Johnny or Sally or Rachel or Kevin or Nancy, right? I could bring in someone else and I ask them, hey, what is your opinion? And they say what they say. And now I'm like, well, that doesn't match my opinion. Yeah, but my opinion's right. Oh, your opinion's right. Okay, cool. Bring in someone else. What do you think? Right? And that other person is like, well, I see what you guys are saying, but I actually think it's this. And then they have their own opinions, and then they're not matching. Everybody's looking at the same chart. Everybody's looking at the same candles, same time frames, but walking away with their own individual opinion. Okay? This right here is what I understand. I understand that me and just these candles, there is a subjective nature here that even when I try to be objective, there's still an influence that I can't avoid through other things that are just a part of being human. And so there's a subjective side that just for me is I don't like this, especially if there's something for me that is better. For me, if I could not only have these strong opinions, but to have somebody from the outside that can be objective about it, seconding what I'm saying or vetoing what I'm saying, then for me, this is of benefit. And so this is why I have my board of directors. My board of directors allow me to veto, right, what I want to do, or to second what I want to do by them having a vote or a say. Now, I have 3 board of directors that I have to answer to. And the first board of director that I have to answer to is called trend direction. And trend direction is basically what we look at, and we talked about it yesterday. It's a technical side of our system, but it has to do with determining what direction we are going in. All right? The trend direction, what direction we're going in. And the way that we make this objective is by using moving averages. And in the system, we have 3. We have a 4 EMA. We have a 20 SMA. We have a 50 SMA. And we have a 200 SMA. Now, the stars of the bunch are definitely the 20, not as much, but important. And so here, these are moving averages. Now, what is a moving average? Let's talk about this. Well, moving average, it allows us to simplify the price action. Okay? We have to simplify the price action. So someone will be like, it's going up. Someone will say it's going down. The moving average will say, over here. I got the real answer. Why? Because you can't manipulate the data. The data is the data, just the facts, man, right? Just like men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. So I bring in this objective pattern. And the way moving averages work, right? Let's say you had 3, and you had 7, and you had 4, and you had 2, okay? So what we have is we have 3, 7, 10, 14, 16. We got 16. We divide that by 4, right? And so the answer is 4. So the moving average would say 4. It would take the 4 numbers and it would say, if we're using a 4, and it would say the average of that is 4. But then we go to 6. Okay. Now we have 7 and 4. 11, right? Then we have 11, that's 13. Then we have 19. So now, instead of the actual 4, we do 19 divided by 4, bringing us to the moving average would say 4.75. because it's taking the last four numbers. If I just do it one more time, just to make sure you got it, let's say it's 12. So we would take that 4, that 2, okay? That's 6, plus another 6 is 12, plus another 12 is 24, okay? Divide that by 4, and now our number is 6. So it went from 4 to 4.75 to 6. Now, is it going up? Absolutely. How do we know? Because average price is rising. Okay, this is how moving averages work. Well, what's the difference between the EMA and the SMA? SMA focuses on an equal weight balance between all of the numbers. And EMA places more weight on the most side. Now, here's a simple thing, okay? Very simple. 20 above the 50. When the 20 is above the 50, we say that the market is bullish. When the 20 is below the 50, we say that the market is bearish. That's it. So what is happening? Well, 20 below the 50, there's something called a slow and a fast cross of a moving average. And when it's going down, they call that the death cross. The death cross. You rarely hear me say this, but that's just because I'm trying to give you guys the basics, but I really say death cross, right? But that's what it's called. When the fast one goes below the slower one. So the 20 is faster and the 50 is slower. They call that the death cross, okay? The golden cross, like this, is when the fast goes above the slow. This is called the golden cross, okay? And this is a bullish signal. So in this scenario, I should be looking for buys. In this scenario, I should be looking for sells. Notice how there's no argument. Which direction should I be looking for? Board of directors, you guys should be looking for buys. But I think it's going to go down from here. Okay. If you think it's going to go down, okay, they're always objective. Okay. Always objective. Now, here's one of the main things. The 4 runs through the price. You can see the 4 runs very closely through price. And so one of the things that you really don't want to do, like you wouldn't want to enter a sell while your 4 is sitting above your 20, because that would be bad. And as you can see, once this went above the 20, it really was bad. You went in the wrong direction for about an hour or so, going in the wrong direction. So that wouldn't have been fun. Okay. But when the 4 is below the 20, that right there typically moves you in the direction of a sell. When that white is below the 20 or the white is above the 20, right, that's changing the direction. So not only do we like to have the 20 above the 50, but we also want to make sure that we are making a decision that agrees also with the 4, right? So if like you're a person that wants to time your entry, then one of the things you want to do is really wait for that 4 to be on your side. We pay attention to these three areas. Sorry, I'm trying to put this back. We pay attention to these 3 areas. Okay. The momentum indicator is made up of a MACD, which is moving averages. I won't go into the big details of it. It's made up of the signal line, and it's made up of the 0 line. Okay. 0 line and signal line. Now the signal line is a moving average. The MACD is moving average formula, combination of 2 and a formula. Okay. But this MACD is represented by the histogram, or this mountain looking thing. The signal line is this white thing, right? This line. And our 0 line is the edge. Now, basically above the signal line or the 0 line, above the 0 line equals buy. Below the 0 line equals sell. So I'm only going to enter sells when we're in here, I'm only going to enter buys. Okay. We agreed to. Now, what are the critics going to say? Well, Chuck, your indicators are lagging. And the answer to that is, so what? That is my answer to that. So what? I had a professor in college, and you would say something to him, and you could say whatever you like. You have this beautiful argument in your position. He'd be like, "So what?" He'd be like, "What?" He's like, "So what? Why does that matter?" It just matters. Why? Why does it matter? He would say. Why should I care about what it is that you're saying right now? Right? He was always trying to push us. I had these teachers that were trying to make us grow up, always teaching these lessons. I guess that's what teachers do, right? They teach lessons. But I had teachers that were trying to teach life lessons, and he would always say, "So what? Why should I care? Why should I care?" And so my answer to it's lagging is, well, so what? Who says I have to be first? Who says I have to get in sooner? Just because there were pips down there, who says I have to get in sooner? My argument would be, well, what about the time you said you were about to buy and you were looking to buy, but all of a sudden the market just kept on going down? What about all the times you were guessing at the structure and you kept getting stopped out because you had your perfect structure that you were looking to get in at, and you just kept getting stopped out because it wasn't ready to go up? So there is a consequence to trying to be first. And for me, I took something that is definitely seen, right? I'm not ignorant of it. It's definitely seen as a handicap, or definitely seen as something that is a it slows you down. For me, I turned that into something that actually was a blessing. Okay? Because what it would do is would keep me from the fake out, or would keep me from being in. There's also one more thing that you could type as well. Type the first thing, and then the second thing I want you to type is this principle. First the volume, then the price. Okay. This is a principle that you'll hear me say over and over and over again. One of the reasons why I don't trade with just price action is because I am missing a key component to the story. And the other part of the story is the volume. The volume is the heads up even before the move happens. For instance, this right here is a glorious candle. Okay, this right here is a glorious candle. But I will tell you that it means nothing ultimately when I look at things. Why? Because volume is giving me a heads up. Volume has told me that it was right here that I had the greatest amount of volume and I could expect the market to continue up. But when this happened, this tells me, whoa, nope. I know that candle is big. I know we made a higher high. We closed above. But this right here, we got nothing, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we got nothing. What do I mean by that? Well, essentially, this volume is telling me ahead of time there's nothing. So look at how little bit of volume comes up there. And so that right there is a strong confirmation. First the volume, now price is confirming as it breaks structure. And we'll dig into this more. But once that happened, we're going to the downside, ladies and gentlemen, right? It's just a matter of time. And even this push up again, same thing. Very low volume. We got nothing, ladies and gentlemen. That right there, very strong move with nothing. Oh, we in there. Okay, we're in there. So we'll talk about that more. But first the volume, then the price. That's the principle. Okay. Now our final board of director possibly may be the star of the show. Okay. The final, I was looking at my notes, sorry. The final star of the show, right, is our third pillar. And our third pillar is currency strength. Okay. Or just strength for short. But currency strength is our third pillar. And essentially, we can start with this because literally it only makes sense. There would be, like, as Forex traders, this is our secret weapon. Okay? This is our secret weapon that we don't go against because it just literally doesn't result in anything long lasting that is good at all. If you want to lose quickly, ignore this principle. Okay. Now we're going to talk more about this, I think, more in this series than we ever have in the past because it is a centerpiece. But ultimately, what is currency strength? Is us comparing, right, one country and its strength to another currency and its strength to be partnered with another time frame. Okay. Now let's walk through the settings real quick as we finish this up. My blue one represents the base currency. My gray one represents the quote currency. So in this case, the base is New Zealand, the quote is US dollar. Okay. So basically, look in here. While this is bullish, see, this is where they come together. Someone might look at this and say, well, I got my bearish volume, I should look to sell. But when I consult with the other board of director at that point would say, nope, we don't agree on that sell. Sorry. We reject that sell and say, oh, okay, sorry about that. Right? Nope, we don't agree. And here's the thing, we want everybody to agree. Okay. And so basically when the base is above the quote, the base currency is stronger. So what should I be doing? Buying New Zealand dollar, selling the dollar. I should be looking right now. This is telling me look for support levels, right? This is one of the things that we're going to talk about. This is going to be one of the things we're going to deal with this pillar more than we have in any other series. Okay. In any other series. And I'm excited about that. Okay. But these are my board of directors. They keep me objective. They keep me actually in the place where I am. I'm making the decision that I should be making, right? One of the things, you just look at this.